Well, that was the day that I learned that conditioner works and shampoo does not.
Sometimes Head and
Oh, shit, we're
Shoulders
live.
just doesn't do the trick.
Right. Right. So, or you can use it, but it's sort of a sprint. Like time is ticking. You've got very little time to go.
You do. It'll get rid of
Right.
your dandruff, though.
Yes, you will not be flaking. Be no flaking.
No.
This got pervy.
No one knows what we're talking about, so it's okay. It's totally okay.
Yeah, nobody knows what we're talking about. None of the men watching this show will understand that conditioner, yes. Shampoo, no. Who would understand that?
Sting.
Welcome to FFIB. I am Jason. That is Tom. We are finger flicked in box. I got a fresh coiffeur today. My new barber, not new. The person I usually use, Katie with Magic Shears, she wasn't there today, so I went with oh my god, what's her name? Another lady there. Lady barbers are hard to find. There's two of them at the same shop, and she did a great job. She asked me if I wanted a hard part, and I said yes, and I didn't know what that meant. Do you know what a hard part is, Tom?
Would they cut it into your head?
Yeah, they go like and they put a line in it.
That sounds appealing, except for my like OCD of like evenness of my hair when it's not done.
Yeah, but look how even it is.
It does look pretty nice.
She's like, she says it looks dumb when it grows out. I was like, thanks.
It's like it's crack. It keeps you coming back to the same shop. You got to get touched up.
Well, she
first
said,
taste is free, Jason. The first taste is free.
She started doing it, and I realized that I've never had it. Like, it's my first time. I've never done it. And she got halfway in, and I went, I'm realizing now what a hard part is. She goes, what?
I thought you meant the hard part of cutting my hair was it was so beautiful and thick.
Right.
Yeah.
What's happening, everybody?
Oh, sir.
Jason, that's Tom. This is FFIB. I think I already did that. I can't remember now. Welcome to FFIB. Yeah. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We are finger flicked in box. That's Tom. I'm Jason. And yeah, let's see. It's been a week since we got together, and we've got stuff to talk about. We got a second sale we can talk about, and
I would love to talk about
ensuing anger and fury. We can talk about the half a dozen people that left the group and messaged Tom and I about leaving the group. We can talk about those who didn't leave the group and message Tom and I. I have lots of thoughts on that. And this is a good forum to talk about it, even though only, not enough people will watch it. But I can only be so
watching. You're not the problem. So it's okay.
I'm not angry at anybody. We're just going to talk about our feelings on it and why we handled it the way we handled it.
I even got a new knife this week, kind of.
You did?
I kind of got a new knife this week. But we can, tease that as long as possible so people stick around for the show.
I also got a new knife today.
Oh, shit.
2 days ago. Yeah. Jay Yeager's here. He says, sup. Carl's here. Mark's here. I believe Mark is a collector club, Tom.
Recent or long time?
Well, I'm not sure, but he was answering questions today about it.
Oh,
so I believe he might actually be a collector club member.
He also is a Koenig collector. I helped facilitate that.
Here is a collector club member. What's up, Jeff?
Man, his is like, he's got a few.
It's got a few. Tom, did you get a GB2?
Again.
Wait, which hand is it? Is it this one? Or...
Well, I'm right-handed, so it's got to be right-handed.
I think it's this one. Yeah. Michael's here. Michael is looking for a blue pivot for a Koenig Arius. If anyone out there has a blue pivot, would like to trade it for a satin pivot, I'm sure he would trade you because he's got a knife. I believe he named it after his wife, which is adorable. And it's a silver twill scale, and it's blue hardware everywhere except the pivot.
That's a big ask. I've seen it asked a lot of times, so I hope you find one.
Michael, the good news is you can disassemble those pivots as long as it's not a Gen 3. You can disassemble it, and you can anode the D side. So if you'd like it anode, it can be done. Or if somebody will trade you, that'd be easier.
Or you can do what me and Jason have both done and buy an entire Koenig Arius so you can have some blue parts and then resell the other one. Definitely
What a
have done
psychopath!
that.
What a psychopathic move it is to buy an extra knife just so you can have the blue parts. Because it's not enough. It's not bougie enough to have a 57,
No,
but to
not at all.
say it would look better with blue.
Yeah.
Better with blue. But I just did the screws. I didn't do the backspacer.
Yes.
I stand by my choice.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is a good knife, Tom.
I like my Koenig 57. It's this case right here. Not gonna lie, there is more money in this case than in my bank account. So I often consider like, what do I really need? That's one though that's in this case that this is a forever keeper, I think. Yeah, I like my 57 a lot.
Jody Arias. Who is Jody Arias?
That name is familiar. I
don't think it's good.
I don't think so either. I think I see this name on Dateline.
Right. I think Jody Arias was like dangerous. I don't know. I don't remember now.
I don't know either.
Matthew just got his first Arias. Matthew, how is it? I know people have preferences, and I don't have a problem with preferences, but people who say it isn't a good knife or it isn't worth the money, I don't understand you. There's lots of knives that I don't love that I will confess are worth the money or are well made.
Yes.
But I can't think of a better made knife for less money than an Arias. Hey, Tom, did you happen to watch Screamin' Pirate EDC's review of the Subvert?
No, I saw the cover of the video on his Instagram, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this video because I don't want someone to put some thoughts in my head about why I shouldn't like a knife. I don't like knife reviews. This is sad. I don't like negative knife reviews because they point out things that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, if that makes sense. I don't want to be, I pick stuff apart enough. I don't need someone else picking apart things to go in my head is my problem. So I don't like negative knife reviews because I'll be with those ideas forever. Even if I don't really think them, I'll know it's there.
There's things about you that don't make sense, but we love you anyway.
I know, a lot of things.
Well, I watched the review, and his criticisms were valid. He pointed out that it had a tremendous amount of lock stick, and he said something I thought was really interesting. He goes, "It's time to stop with the Reeve integral lock. Even Reeve has stopped with the Reeve integral lock. The guy puts a bearing in it. So the guy, I should say, the company. But it's a good point. Like there are very few companies left that are still using a titanium lock bar, the Reeve style. And I've handled about 6 of those, Tom, and I have not found one with lock stick. But his had so much lock stick, he could perform it on the video. It went click clack.
I can believe that. We had this discussion, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we first got these, and you asked me if mine had lock stick. I hadn't experienced any lock stick, but as soon as you said that, I swear, during the video, I was like, "Oh shit! I think Jason just gave it lock stick talking about it. It heard you talking about it, and it got sticky. But since then, it's gone away, like completely. It's better now than it's been.
Mine has no stick at all.
Oh, mine's negative.
If it develops stick, guys, it's probably because there's a little bit of oil on the lock face. If you clean the lock face and clean the lock bar, I bet it'll go away. And a wrong solution, by the way, is to lubricate it. So that would include pencil. It's not a great idea. Now, imagine, if you will, you have a lock face. Oh, well, you got a lock face, right? And then you have a lock bar. And the lock bar comes in to the lock face. The lock face should be at an angle, right?
Yep.
The lock bar comes in. So this is backwards on camera, which is weird. It's going this way.
Yeah.
The reason you're getting lock stick is because the lock is going too far. So what will make that worse? Lubricant, right? You don't want the lock to go too far. You don't want it to go deeper. Deeper is bad, especially if the lock bar does what a lot of them do and it curves, right? Now it's getting exponentially tighter as it gets towards the back. So make sure it's dry. Usually that will solve it. Not always, right? If you have a K2, you know what I'm talking about. If you've got a Nirvana, you know what I'm talking about. If you got a Payson, you probably know what I'm talking about. They can get stuck. So his point was do better. And for the price, do better. And I hear him. But at the same time, I've played with 6 of them and didn't have any lock stick. And I still love mine. I think it's a cool knife.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel the best part is, well, one, I got mine for like $300. So that's like, I always like getting a deal. I love a good deal. You know me. So I like, but like for $300, you get so much knife. It's just so much knife.
You can take the scales off and plant them in the garden and grow another knife, and they still have a knife.
You have a knife already. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, this is legit though. I feel Paisan problems. Like you've handled Paisan, right, with the lock stick.
Yeah, and I know more than one knife store that actually mailed back all of their knives that they were shipped recently because all of them had stick, and they said it's better to get rid of them than it is to suffer the slings and arrows from the customers. So they literally just sent them all back, which is pretty bananas when you think about it.
So the problem with the Paisan, even I don't know what they changed in the CQI one, but it still sticks. Is so on a frame lock knife, like this is tall, kind of vertically on an Oz, and it's not super long. Well, on a Paisan, it's like way out to here. It's a long cut lock relief, and vertically, it's short, which means when you hold it like this, the whole thing flexes up, which pushes into the blade face. So squeeze, this goes up and pushes in the blade face. And when you go to unlock it, it's not easy to access. So you have to push in and that locks it up again.
You need a lock bar to flex this way. You don't want it to flex this way. If it's flexing vertically, that's a problem because, and also, by the way, when you're using your thumb, like think about how much force is going down and how much force is going out. So the problem with that Paisan, like Tom just eloquently said, is that you're bending the lock bar. So
the solution on a Paisan when I had one was I hate this is the answer is to unlock it differently. You're doing it wrong is the problem. And I figured out the only way I could get to not flex was use my index finger, which takes holding it in another hand and doing that. And that kind of defeats the purpose.
Kind of weird.
But it fixes the problem.
Yeah. So Screaming Pirate said he's going to stop reviewing Spyderco for a while. That's kind of sad because they do put out 9.5 new models a year. So, yes. Or I guess we're gonna have to go somewhere else for our Spyderco content. Sean Reese says that he loves the Subvert premium steel and pretty much aftermarket scale stock. Natty's design is awesome. Natty's design is awesome. And for those who don't know, I got a mini opiate from
that's right,
Slice, and it's badass. And I took it apart and I lubed it with a little gunny, and now it's even better. Now it's real smooth.
Nice.
But honestly, Tom, taking that knife apart and looking at how Riot makes a Natty design, pretty strong.
I will have to say it's about Riot is, so the way I understand it is you're, as a knife designer, you bring them a design and they're going to make you your knife, but they provide input and manufacturing assistance, I get, to your design to make it work. And so that
a better way to put it is they have boundaries on what they can and cannot do. So they take your design and then they make it fit into their universe.
And considering how vastly different types of knives they make from different designers, it seems like they'd have a lot of experience in figuring out those little hiccups from different designers.
So I'll give you a couple of reasons why this thing is so bad to the bone. For one thing, Tom, this is not an insert into the handle. This is a pivot collar that's radiused just like the handle is.
Oh, wow.
And it's radiused so well, you can't feel it. So when I disassembled the knife and I took the pivot out, the collar came out. So think about your Jaeger M's. They have a pivot collar.
Yes.
Same thing, but this is radiused perfectly, so it's smooth. You cannot feel the boundaries anywhere. So you pull the carbon fiber off, and there's liners, right? And the liner has 2 screws on this side and 2 screws on this side that are hidden underneath the carbon fiber. So just like the Subvert, you can take the carbon fiber off and use it as a knife if you wanted to. But yeah, extremely well built. So dropped a little gunny in there. By the way, the lock bar, taller.
There you go.
Taller this way.
Is there a little gunny scoop in there? Is there a scoop for your finger on the scales, or is it easy to get to the lock bar anyway?
A scoop. It does have a scoop.
Oh,
yeah. Good. Pay attention, giant mouse. There's a little scoopy scoop that's milled in there.
The little scoop will do you a lot of good.
It doesn't need to be a big scoop. Just a little scoop, please.
A little
so
scoop.
You can get the lock bar real easy. And now with the gunny, like this thing's a guillotine.
Whew.
My only beef with this thing is the flipper tab itself. It's got jimping here, which is worthless. Like you would never grab it here, but the top doesn't have any jimping. It's kind of slippery. So
you could make it go away if it bothered you.
I wish Joseph Vero had consulted on that, because you know what that boy would have done? He would have rounded this off just a little bit, and he would have put one jimp at like 1 o'clock. Right,
and he would have hidden it inside of the frame, and you wouldn't have known it was a flipper, though.
Well, it would have been right there. Like your finger would just find it. You'd have just enough of a toe hold, and be able to go run with it. Uh-oh. Looks like Mr. and Mrs. Guevara are going out on the town tonight.
Oh, what do you mean? What do they do?
I think we're gonna get an update.
I like it when those posts get reported, because to me it's just like, oh, good, I have a good post to go look at now.
Bring popcorn. Did we already talk about the factory sex group drama? No, we're kind of burying the lead a little bit. I thought maybe we talk about more knife stuff. Tom, what'd you get? You got a knife today?
I didn't get a knife, but I got something I think more people will be excited of than a knife. I got these AWT scales for my native. Lightweight. That's right, folks. Native lightweight scales, which means they have to accept these kind of screws that go into lightweight, and they have to screw into metal, and they built a back spacer out of aluminum to go with your lightweight. So you can now convert your lightweight native to an aluminum handled one for much less money than having to buy a G10 one to start just to get the dumb back spacer. I will never understand why natives cost so damn much for a G10 native. It's like when prices were somewhat reasonable on American made Spydercos, natives were always more, but as prices have increased, now it's like, okay, hold up. These lightweights are still cheap. It's the same blade, but these are AWD scales. This finish is blue titanium anodized. It's an MXG clip, but skinny. These weigh 2.9 ounces with a built knife. Stock native is 2.5 ounces. So it adds about 0.4 ounces, not noticeable. Very solid feeling, cool little knife. These are going to be a big hit, just like all of their scales.
I was going to ask you to still man the argument for why you would buy a lightweight knife and then not leave it a lightweight. But now that you made a really great point right there. A G10 native doesn't have liners, correct?
Not anymore. It used to. That's where I think all these shenanigans. I think Eric Lesser needs a refresher, because the old G10 natives until 2018 had liners, and they were chunky and beefy and different.
And now it doesn't. Since it doesn't have liners, really, you think about a lightweight versus a G10. The only difference is
the back spacer.
G10 or FRN.
Yeah.
The existence of a back spacer. Yeah, you're right. So why is it so much more expensive? And if you're going to convert one, now that suddenly makes a lot of sense.
So
where it
now
doesn't
you
make
can get
a pair of 3 lightweights. I don't understand buying a pair of 3 lightweight for $140 and then buying a conversion kit for $85. I don't understand.
It's kind of the same concept, but the dollars are higher and closer difference between the lightweight and the G10. But yeah. G10 and lightweight, I mean, some lightweight natives, like the Rex 45 white one, those were $110. So you can buy those in these scales, and you can get a knife that's badass for like under $200.
Yeah, so it's a really cool way to do it. Do you happen to know the colors that will be available?
I don't know. So I'm just gonna say I got these for a pre-release little show off everybody and see what you think about it special. And they just asked me what color I wanted, so I wanted to match my pair of 3. So I'm not sure what they're going to come out with first. And I know there's always a lot of confusion on AWT scales, like what color's what. It doesn't look the same on the website, and that's Cerakote or that's Anno. I honestly don't know. I just know this is blue titanium Anno. I really like it. Of all the colors I have seen, it's my favorite color. I like the Anno better than the Cerakote. Just I like the texture better. It's not dusty or chalky feeling Anno. It feels good. It wears in a pleasant way. So like these edges will wear off, but it looks cool.
One thing you want to think about is anodizing on aluminum is not super durable. It's very easy to scratch anodized aluminum. So if you're concerned about the color being a little more resistant to daily carry, then the Cerakote's going to be more durable. So Tom, are you holding the ano right there?
So I carry this knife. I'll tell you guys a secret. I only carry one freaking knife. This is the only knife I ever carry. So when someone says,
You
"What's your
said that
EDC?"
about a pair of 3 last week.
Yeah, this one is the one that's always the one I carry pretty much. Like, this is the by far the most carried knife I have, and it's starting to show some battle scars and little nicks and worn off spots. But I kind of like it. It's just
Got some tape on it.
Yeah, that's how tape on it. It must have been used to cut something.
How dare you?
I know, but yeah, the ano will wear, but it's got a good texture. It makes it nice and grippy.
The problem is aluminum itself is a relatively softer material, so it's easier to scratch the aluminum itself. So an analogy might be a raw egg. The shell of the egg is rather hard, but the inside of the egg is not. So if you push too hard, what happens? The shell cracks because the squishy part underneath has some give to it. So it is, whether the ano is tough or not, the aluminum isn't. So something to think about. It's just something to think about. That's all. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Like, and also anodizing is very, very thin. Cerakote is thicker. Cerakote is basically ceramic paint. So it's going to be fairly wear resistant, fair kind of sort of, and then it's going to be a bit more thick and durable than anodizing.
So the cool thing about the native platform is the steels that are available on the native for the different price points are very compelling, cool options. Because there's like, at one point, I think I owned 6 different versions of the native that had S90V blades. It's the easiest platform to get cool steels in, I think, because you can get S90V teal for like $103 or Rex 45 for 110. Max expensive, but like it's a good platform to get a high-end steel on.
No doubt.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with these. I will be rocking this bad boy. Native is just, I said many times, it's the best knife for knifing stuff. If it fits your hand, I mean, it fits my hand. It might not fit yours. You might have bigger hands. You might not like the ergos, but it's
I don't
a knife.
love the way it fits in my pocket. I do like that it's not as tall as a Para 3 or a PM2. The blade has a more because it's a leaf shaped blade, it sits a little lower in the frame itself. So I do like that, but I don't love it in my pocket.
Yeah, that's why I got this clip. Yep. Clip is the downfall of the native. It just
Jeff, they're not out just yet. They're coming soon. Right, Tom?
Yep, coming soon. Since I asked for this color ano and they got me it, I'm assuming they have ones ready to go and they're getting finished or getting prepped to go on the site soon.
Since Tom's got an internet show and it was probably his idea to bug them to do that, they just sent him a set in advance. Native Chief scales. That's interesting.
That would take like a Titanic's worth of aluminum. Those would be too big. Those would be huge.
Start crushing up your liney cans, everybody. We gotta recycle so we can make it happen. Well, Tom, I got a knife this week.
What'd you get?
Finally, I got my Winterblade Mirage.
Whoa, that is a cool looking piece of technology you got there.
This is one of the most innovative knife designers out there. This guy, Brian Winters, is obviously a machinist and an evil genius because his knives are unlike anybody else's. So some guys start their knife career like at a grinding knives, right? And they start with fixies and they work their way out. Not this evil genius. He started as a machinist. And so his designs are very unconventional. What you're seeing here is titanium with a G10 liner. It's kind of weird. So we got Ty, we got G10, we got G10.
Oh, weird.
We got a back spacer that looks like steel. It says Winterblade M390. And then the best part about his designs, Tom, he does not use traditional detents. He uses neodymium magnets.
Mm-hmm.
So on this knife, you'll notice it has an axis style or a bolt lock. It's not actually an axis. It's a little stud on like a hockey puck inside the knife, right? When I pull this backwards, it actually deploys the blade. the blade has a swoop right here. See the swoop?
Yeah.
So that hockey puck actually pushes the blade open, and you'll see the edge of the magnet right there on the blade.
Mm-hmm.
There's another magnet inside the handle. So when the close, the magnets hold the blade shut. But when you flip the lever, the blade comes out. So it's not a spring assist, it's a magnet assist.
So does it take a little bit of wrist action? Is that the whole deployment, is just pushing the button in and it pops it
Yeah,
kind of out?
so you basically just shake your hand forward as you pull the lever back and the blade pops out. If you don't like that, you can also spidey flick it, and it is a mean spidey flicker. It pops open real quick. The blade itself is a really cool, what would we call this, Tom? Drop point?
Yeah.
It's kind of a drop point. It's very thin. It's a full flat grind. It's very slicey. And when these came out, there was multiple options for finish.
It's a really
So
cool looking knife. It doesn't look like anything else, obviously.
it doesn't look like anything else. It's great in the pocket. It carries rather deep. We do have 2 screws here, but the pocket clip has clearance almost all the way to the end.
I like that pocket clip. I like that design. That's cool. It's really cool.
It does nothing to the back of your hand, so it's very comfortable to hold. In terms of grip, I like it right about here. I've got all 4 fingers on the knife. You could come up if you wanted to, but you're probably going to cut yourself on the end of the blade here. It would be very easy to sharpen this knife, but I don't see myself having to sharpen it anytime soon. It is extremely sharp.
That's like a nice edge. Yeah.
Pretty slicey.
So who's the OEM on that?
I believe Bestech makes these. So part of the reason I like it, being a lefty, is that the lock is right here under my finger. So I've gotten really good opening and closing it with my left hand. I can't quite do it as well with my right, but real easy to open and close. It is a fun fidget knife, like his previous design. But yeah, pretty cool knife. I believe I pre-ordered mine, so the pre-order people are getting theirs now. If you didn't pre-order, he'll probably do a drop soon. But I don't really see any flaws in it where I would want a Gen 2.
What?
So if you're,
what's the price point of that?
I don't remember. 350 stands out, somewhere in the 350 range.
And he has, what is it, 2 other designs?
If you watch his Instagram, he's got about 24 designs of various things. Then they're all brilliant. They're all crazy things you've never seen before. He's got a lightsaber knife, like it's an OTF. And when you flip it, it goes, and there's a light beam that comes up the side of the handle, and then the blade shoots out.
It's an Olight collab. It's
crazy. I believe he has a couple more that are coming. You get a Hank with it. You get a little storage box. So I have Tom and I have brainstormed storage boxes with a friend of ours in the past, and I got to tell you, I really hate these. It's one more piece of crap I got to store, because if I ever sell the knife, I got to make sure I got it, because otherwise, God forbid. If I had another gripe, it would probably be that it came with a little bag of fixins. So I've got extra screws, which are really thankful for that.
Yeah.
There's a magnet, and there's instructions, and there's a sticker, but they don't fit inside here.
Oh,
so I have to save the original box that this mailed to me in, so that I have somewhere to put it all in my closet. So
it only took Koenig a couple of years to figure out that they should make the card fit inside the box too.
Well, the card should fit inside the baggie. The baggie should fit inside the box.
Yes.
Nice. So I appreciate that he's including these things, because it's thoughtful, and it sort of adds a little value, I suppose. But to me, I just don't ever see myself storing the knife in the box.
There are people out there that only own one knife. Believe it or not, I think there are. And those type of people, I get, like, wanting to have, like, their thing in their box, but I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, I like Seth's better. He got the lime green. It looks sweet. I think the G10 is lime green instead of being gray. His first design, Tom, had that push button on the back of the knife.
Yes.
So you could pull the lock, or you could push the button, or you could spidey flick it.
I have played with that one. I think I played with Zach Cooper's.
Yeah, the push button part. He figured out that you could order these little tritium vials and drop it in there, and it would fit just perfectly. So you could have a glow in the dark tritium vial in the knife. And I looked into it, and it was about $90 option. I was like, I don't love it that much. But yeah, definitely cool. John Ruff's with me. He says the packaging is overrated. I
Tell Casey Lynch that while you're at it.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
If you want, some people like really care about packaging though. Like, I get it. I'd get it.
Did
Like,
you ever
there's
have
got to
like
be a happy medium between Spyderco boxes for like, well, the old way they used to pack subverts in the normal box where it was like blown out, and then like a whole big old case with flipped and all. There's a happy medium there.
Did you ever have like great grandma Moore? And when she would wrap things, it was obvious she took 2 hours to put the wrapping paper on. Like the patterns would line up and she'd fold everything so there was no torn edges and the
Her
tape,
her
like a
name
minimum amount of
is
tape with maximum impact. And you're like, I'm just going to tear it open.
her name is Scott Moore. It's my dad,
You're,
and my dad he taught me how to wrap presents. My
yeah.
dad is one of those guys who would put a box inside of a box inside of a box. It'd be perfectly wrapped, all lined up. The little card on top would be lined up with the pattern. My dad would spend all night on Christmas Eve wrapping stuff, and then come morning, we're just going to tear it open anyway.
I
But
like being good at wrap. I like the presents to look good, but I'm not gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, why don't we dip our toes into the topic of the second sale?
Hey, let me do an impression of the second sale. That's all I saw at the second sale.
I didn't buy anything. I didn't
buy
try.
anything either.
All of my emails are locked out. I don't have an account that I can access. I will not create another email. I'm going to wait until they fix that, and then I'll be back and I'll buy things. But until then, I'm not buying anything.
So I think everyone is probably aware that the website was not quite up to the task of the second sale, because I checked it quite often. I wasn't trying to buy anything. I was just doing it for research purposes of the show. 8 hours after the drop, I never actually saw even Spyderco.com load. I never once got the homepage to load, let alone logging in, going to the product, going to the specific product page, adding it to cart, going to my cart, and then checking out. Like there's like 10 more pages I would have had to go through, and I couldn't get to page 1. It was the most frustrated I wasn't trying to buy anything, but it was most frustrated with the website I have been for any of these events, because usually I can at least get the homepage to load. So there's a glimmer of hope that if I keep on clicking stuff, that I'll get there eventually. But this is the worst I've seen that homepage perform.
An idea occurred to me somewhere around 4:00 in the afternoon. Spyderco should seek out business partners that can help them move their product. Like a distribution network, and then they could sell the product for them.
Yes.
Wait, they do that. Anyway. Yeah, it was weird, right? And setting all that aside, there seems to have been a tremendous amount of deals. I saw somebody bought one of those 3-knife boxes and got 3 exclusives. So I think it was a Native Chief 4V, a 15V Mannix, 15V Shaman, and then the third knife I didn't quite recognize, but that's a monster deal for $250.
Yeah. I've seen a couple go. I'm enjoying. So obviously some people were able to get through. So
yes, many people did.
Many people got through. Many people checked out enough so that when I finally did get Spyderco to load, everything was sold out. So congrats to all you who scored and who stuck with it. Don't think about how much your time's worth. If you spent that day, I'm going to get knives. I get it because I've done it before too. There's some killer deals I've seen. I've seen some seconds that I would have been upset if I would have got that second, if that was all I got. Like, did you see the pair of 3 that had the DLC and then it got ground off, that one?
No.
There was a pair of 3. It was a Digicamo DLC that had been DLC coded and then run on a grinder again. So one side was and it was really coarse ground. And I was like, it's what it is. Like, what are you going to do? It's a second. It's an obvious second. But if that was the 1 second I got, I'd be kind of bummed out.
It's like we told you last week, guys. Sometimes most of the time, they're going to be beautiful and you're not going to be able to find the flaw. But sometimes they're great, remarkable. Like We've seen blades that were half DLC, half satin. We've seen blades with the wrong finish. We've seen the wrong steel on the knife. We've seen all kinds of things. You know, we've seen warped blades. We've seen knives that could not be sharpened. So remember that Manix, or no, it was Maxima Native
Maxima
5.
Native. I have the other one with me, and I'm having the same problem with it as that one.
I about turned it into a Texas toothpick, and before I gave it to someone for free because it just couldn't put an edge on it.
Yeah.
It would crumble. Guys, I'd sharpen it to a burr, and then it would crumble.
Oh, it just fall off, like the whole edge would fall off. It was like very like, whoa,
It
where'd
was
my
like
edge
graham.
go?
It was like a graham cracker. You know how when you break a graham cracker, you get like the strata, and it crumbles. It never breaks clean. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. I do enjoy when people post like, I can't find the flaw, because I usually can. But it's usually so not a big deal. It's usually so not a big deal. It's usually like right around here or the grind. I think people aren't as particular about their grinds as Spyderco is, believe it or not, because a lot of times it's a perfect knife. They're not going to throw a blade away, and it's sharpenable to make it look brand new and perfect. Those are the best seconds to get. You can't tell unless you're particular about your edge, and usually you can even fix it and make it perfect. Those are the best kind of seconds to get.
I think overall, a lot of people got some good deals. We're going to see a lot of used stuff pop up. The only thing I'm going to keep telling you guys is make sure that you look to see if you're buying a second. One clue, it won't have a box. Second clue, it's going to have a notch on the top of the blade. Now, some people might go take a box or something else and then pair it with a second and sell it like it's real. But the notch next to the hole is going to look like another piece of jimping that didn't go all the way through the blade. It's going to be on just one side. So look for that, and you'll be fine. Just know you're getting a good deal.
There is a person who's no longer part of the group who once sold a second, and they knew it was a second. It was a DLC blade, so they tried to hide the notch with a Sharpie, and they colored in the little notch. And then that buyer figured out it was a second, and that didn't go well.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a second, just be aware. Ask what the flaw is if you can tell. Get lots of pictures. If they say the flaw is opening action, you can adjust it or whatever. Just know what you're getting.
So the last thing I wanted to get to the topic about this that I wanted to get to was the amount of comments and posts during and after the second sale that were coming in, and my thoughts on it. I think your thought. You and I haven't talked about this at all, but I think I know your thoughts on it. We're kind of of the same mind.
I didn't even look at the group that day. I didn't even feel like looking at the group.
It was kind of bloody. There was a lot of people that were angry, right? There were a lot of emotions running, a lot of hotheads. There was also so what I kind of broke it into a couple camps, Tom. There was the camp of people that felt entitled to be able to buy a discounted knife, and when they couldn't, they were indignant about it. And it was a lot of like, I'm a grown person and I have a wallet and I want to give you money and you won't allow me to do it. It's not fair. So the fairness people, right? They were very upset about fair. Then there were the trolls, the Joeys that were basically just torturing those guys, right? And then there were the jokers who were the true like anarchists, and they were like basically like destroying both sides. So you had the people who were mad about fair, and then you had the people calling them crybabies, and then you had the people talking about how the ultimate cry would cry about the crybabies.
So, and then you posted about don't cry about the crybabies, and we're done crying about all the crybabies. And someone came after you, like, talking about it, still talking about it, Jason.
Right. I had a very sensitive, kind, thoughtful person quit the group and messaged me after he left and said, I left the group and here's why. And he wrote me a very long note about, I don't like the vitriol. I don't like the fact that you guys let people bag on the brand that we all love. I don't like the fact that you let people get rude and inconsiderate with each other and ugly. I think it's wrong. And I think you guys should do better. And I really took it to heart. I even ran it by the moderators. I ran it by Tom. I wanted to make sure that we're kind of all looking at this the right way and we're not being too callous. But something that Tom and I have found for years of running this group is that you have to let people express themselves, especially when they're hot and they're emotional they're driven by anger and rage about not being able to buy their favorite shit. You have to let them get it out, because in the past we've tried before, after an exclusive where the computer crashed, we tried deleting every comment, deleting everything, and trying to defend the honor of the store, right? And all that happened was it created 3 weeks of people pissed at us for cracking down.
Well, you fucking try to censor me, bro? What is this?
There was that, and then there was also like, I can't express an opinion. And you're like, shit, he's got us. He's right. You should be able to express your opinion. It's just an opinion, right? And as long as you're not being disrespectful or being attacking somebody or attacking their family or, you know, disparaging their look or their gender or their race or whatever, as long as you're just expressing an opinion, then we're going to let you express it. But when it becomes a personal attack or an angry thing, then we're probably going to shut it down. So in the moment, we probably let it go a little too far, but everybody needed to be able to express themselves. Now, on the other
I
side of
get
the
it.
coin,
Like you have one window over here not loading, and you want to talk about the cool things you bought, and you have your phone in the other hand. And when you're not able to buy things, all that emotion is going to go right into the phone because that's your outlet of people that can listen to you right now. I get
I
it.
went to the gas station the other day, Tom, to buy my favorite gum. I went to buy a pack of this 5 gum. It's my favorite, the peppermint, the blue, not spearmint, screw spearmint.
Okay.
And I got all the way there, Tom, and they didn't have any. They run out. And I walked right up to the counter and I started stomping my foot and crying. And I yelled at the cashier about how they didn't have any gum and it wasn't fair. You know what happened?
They gave you some menthol cigarettes.
No, she didn't care at all. Not even a little bit. She barely acknowledged I was talking to her. She didn't care. Right? Because you're not entitled to get what you want whenever you want it. I wasn't, they didn't have any gum. So too bad. Right? Sometimes you're going to try to get a knife and you're not going to get it. And no one who's a grown up is going to cry with you. Like we're all laughing at you because you're being immature. So please don't do that. At the same time, you can express yourself if you want to. So what we've decided a long time ago was people can feel their feels, but the next day we're all going to stop talking about it.
Done.
It's just done. So
you have 24-hour limit on all the ridiculousness, and then it's moving on.
You got to be able to express yourself, but you don't get to be a dick. Right. Fuck is with us. He says, express yourself. Thank you. You know, if you want to express yourself, go ahead. Right. It's supposed to be a group of friends that all like knives and we're all in it together. One of the things that's really interesting about this group is how much people overshare. And it's because we feel like we're in a safe space with our friends and we can talk about the things that matter to us. Right. But the next day I went through, I don't know, 40 posts and turned off commenting because I got tired of them popping back up to the top of the feed.
Yeah.
And I had to post a couple of times about, hey, we're done with this. Let's move on. And I can tell it bothered some people that I was doing that. But I think generally what we're doing is we're shooting the average there. We're kind of satisfying the most amount of people possible in a weird situation. So, you know, that was our opinion on that. Civil discussions and opinions are always great. Once they go beyond civil, it becomes toxic. It can. It's no good.
I was getting frustrated. I mean, I obviously didn't post anything ranting and raving. Now, I wanted to see what they had for sale, and I couldn't even see the list. So I had to go to the group, and some people got lucky enough to get in and would post screenshots of everything. That satisfied my need, but if I was seriously in the market to like buy something, what day was this? Was this on Thursday?
I don't remember. Probably.
It was a work day though. If I was like at work and screwing off and trying to do this without someone catching me screwing off at work, it'd be really, really frustrating if you had to keep on going and going and going.
Yeah, it sucks. But shit happens. Get over it. You know, life moves on. We're all supposed to be grown-ups. You can't be under 18 and be in this group. So you're free to cry if you want to, but you're not going to get sympathy from me that you missed out on a knife. Like, be a grown-up. So
they did post an apology, Jason. They did post an apology. Unprecedented.
My favorite comment on that was somebody said, I think they copied and pasted it from last year.
Yep.
That was cold-blooded. Listen, they didn't want it to go that way. They wanted everybody to be able to get what they wanted. That's real. That company cares deeply about you. They care deeply about all of us. They care deeply about customer service. They want people to get a quality product every time they want one. So it wasn't by design, you know. But
and this is still
It happened.
I mean, it happens before, but this is still relatively new. If you want to buy a second, you could have bought a second the way that they've been selling them for fucking 30 years and go to the factory in December and camp out for 3 days. Or you could be trying to be frustrated on a website. So obviously I said this last week, this was going to happen. I'm not surprised at all, but it was worse than it's been. I was surprised about that.
I can only guess the web traffic they had. I can only guess. I don't even know. They probably had thousands and thousands per minute visiting the site, hitting F5, refreshing. You know, they're on their phone, they're on their computer, they're on their wife's computer, they're on their wife's phone, trying to, you know, 4 different browsers, all refreshing as fast as they can, trying to get it to go. You're just not gonna, it's just not gonna, you know, it's not gonna go well if you're not a retailer geared up for that kind of commerce. And they are a manufacturer. So this is obviously something that's a stretch for them.
And also, this, I think, if you guys haven't been around the hobby for like 5 years, there's been like when exclusives started getting really, really popular. I think it was the Red DLT second release of the M390 DLT was the first time a website just fucking crashed dead. It was down for an hour and 19 minutes. And that was the like blew my mind that exclusives were doing this. And then it started becoming a thing, like more than just DLT. It was Knife Joy, it was Rec, it was Blade HQ's website runs like dog slow.
There was 5 or 6 releases from Blade HQ where it was 45 minutes to check out.
Oh, the Tonto PM2s.
Maybe 10.
I ended up with
Maybe
8
10.
Tonto PM2s because I was trying to check out so damn fast on that website.
Right.
So I think we all became accustomed to that's the way websites run. And then there'd be like a refreshing one, like St. Nick's would sell 1,000 knives in a minute 20 seconds, and theirs would go fast. So I know it's possible, but I think a lot of us got really used to the fact that sites can crash, and now that that doesn't really happen anymore, it's like, you know, I don't know, not ready for it.
So the moral of the story is be a grown up, don't be a crybaby, but don't be a dick to those who are frustrated, right? And like all of us have frustrations in our day. We should be able to express them to our friends. So when somebody goes in a public post and goes, "Man, I'm kind of pissed off because I tried to get one and I didn't." It's not necessarily crying, is it? It can also just be an expression of like in the moment, we're all sharing a moment together. So this is how it's going for me. It's not any different than somebody going, got a knife. I got 2, I got 1, you know, I didn't get 1. I fell asleep. I overslept, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just commenting on the moment. So for those who are crying, please don't cry. And for those who are mean to the criers, like don't be a dick. Let's just let's just try to have a little empathy, all right?
You know what I need to do?
That's
I
why
need
it
to
went
go
the way
to
it
the I need to go to the official Spyderco group and read those posts. I haven't looked at those ones in the official group yet. I saw one come through my feed. It was someone that said, "Oh man, I forgot today was the second sale. What did I miss?" It's like, oh, this is great.
Depending on your internet connection, maybe nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the long and short of that, guys. Like, I don't know. I was involved in the creation of an Oz Machine Company group in addition to the one that already exists. And the purpose was because there was so much crying in the Oz group about people that were upset about the lottery system. You know, there were those who were accusing them of fraud, and then others were accusing them of rigging it. And then other people were being accused of unfairness because they get their wife to enter, as if that, as give me a break. You have odds and that now 2 in 1,000. You're mad about that? Come on. 2 out of 1,000.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna buy lottery tickets to Mega Millions, and I'm gonna have Kim buy tickets, so I might win $1 billion. Just saying.
I wonder if I won. I got a ticket right here from yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So
I decided Go
play
ahead.
the lottery. I don't play
No.
lottery, but I do see on the news like whenever it gets up to a big number. But it's been getting up to $1 billion a lot lately in the last couple of years. It didn't used to get this high ever. Did they like add
A lot
more
of degenerates
balls?
that play the the lottery all the time. The other thing is there's a couple games, right? It used to be just one national game, and now there's multiple. So it was the Powerball that got to $1 billion 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah,
now it's Mega Millions got to $1 billion. Yeah, my rule
that'd
is
be good.
usually if it's not close to $1 billion, I don't play. But I need
Yeah,
to have
who
enough to buy
needs?
Epstein's Island. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to turn it into a knife sanctuary.
If you're not going to have at least 300 million left after taxes and not taking it as an annuity, I think that blows people's minds. Like, what you mean? I don't get all the money? I want a smaller chunk. Yeah, just take it all at once. Just get lump sum payment. You don't want that annuity. Then give
A
half
lot
it.
more money. It's a lot more money in the annuity, Tom.
I know. I know.
Also, it helps keep you from spending it all.
True, but how am I going to buy a super yacht with an annuity?
$800 million over 20 years is a lot of money annually. You could still have a super yacht.
Okay. But I want the yacht so big that when they build it, they have to take down a bridge to get it out of the harbor like Jeff Bezos style.
I want a yacht so large it proves the earth is round. Because when you stand on the bow and you look to the stern, you can see that it dips. Yep. So, yeah, my favorite trick though, Tom, is I'll buy one number. I didn't this time. This time I got 5, but sometimes I'll just buy one number, and the cashiers always lose their mind. Like, just one? You only buy one number? Like, yeah, just one. You don't want 10? Like, why do I need 10? I got odds of 1 in 182 million. 10 in 182 million isn't better.
Well, I think I may have participated in it once, but like the nightmare scenario for me would be like entering an office lotto pool with 19 people and one random ticket wins. The legal battles and friendships that would be ruined over trying to fight over the money over people who entered and didn't enter. And I would just have to buy my own ticket. I couldn't share it. That'd be too weird.
Yep. And then when you win, you just don't tell anybody ever.
Don't tell anybody.
Nobody.
You have a lot more cousins coming out of the woodworks.
There's a funny meme on Instagram about that. It's like, I'm not going to tell you that I won the lottery, but there'll be a tell, and then it'll be like a gold plated car or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'd probably buy an island, and I'd buy, a couple airplanes. Why not? Travel the world for a couple years. That'd be pretty good.
I would honestly, I would just buy some more hoodies. Really. There's a lot more hoodies, but I buy more hoodies. That's what I've been doing, is buying hoodies lately. It's been my distraction since I quit smoking. I needed something to get my mind off it, so I've been buying hoodies. That's all I need in my life, really. Makes me happy.
If we need to switch you to having hoodies instead of buying hoodies, because you
I
have
gave a
hoodies.
bunch away, and now I'm like replenishing with different types now. I bought a Lululemon hoodie this week that's in the mail, which I'm really excited
Those
for.
are for girls, Tom.
No, it's
They're for
for
girls.
fancy. It's for fancy
it's
boys. Like it's for fancy boys. I'm a fancy boy.
No, it's for girls. Don't buy Victoria's Secret either, or Pink. Those are for girls.
I know, but I got this.
Love.
It's been
Only
a
at
tough.
Tom's house will it be like Lululemon or Carhartt.
I got both. I got both.
Got both.
That's a term I haven't heard in a long time.
Here comes one of the gamblers. All right, hotshot. You're such a metro, Tom.
That used to be goals back in the day. I haven't heard that for a minute. That episode of South Park, the metrosexual episode, is one of the best. But yeah, I haven't been called that in a minute. I'm okay with it though.
I think it got overused. Like
It did.
one person's Metro is another's good grooming, right?
I was about to say, pretty soon it's just like, I've been called that before when I mentioned cutting your fingernails. I'm like, no, if that's metrosexual, call me it all day long. Like, there is base level grooming is not that.
Right. I think the equatorial line on that is like, do you shave your balls or not?
Well, I'm metro as hell then.
TMI. But you think about like it went Metro to hipster. Hipster was
Yeah.
definitely a wild swing in the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hipster, you end up with a Josh Haygood mustache.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys don't you don't have to go in the comments and tell us whether you do or don't. We'll just leave that out.
But I mean, it's a big family. You're welcome to.
I suppose. Yeah, trimming fingernails doesn't count as Metro.
No.
No.
What else is new?
Man, I don't know.
So there's a second sale. We got some knives.
I'm getting better at sharpening, Tom.
Are you?
I feel like I'm in a nice spot now where I don't need to go all the way to 0.25 micron. I'm okay to stop at 400. I'm okay with a satin edge.
I have grown to. It's like a satin edge. You can get it sharp. It can look really good. It can almost look better sometimes if it's a really clean satin that's really even than a mediocre mirror, and it's probably sharper.
The problem with going mirror is I want 0 scratches in it.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm unhappy.
Yes.
So a scratched mirror bugs the shit out of me, whereas a satin doesn't. But that doesn't mean I don't want to try. But when you're using a rougher edge, a toothy edge, it definitely feels cool when it cuts through paper. You get it has more growl to it. It definitely grabs on the edge of the paper more. And then it never dulls. When you're dealing with these hyper good steels, they just don't get dull.
Like some people will say they can't sharpen Maximate. My 2 sharpest knives are Maximate sharpened to 400 grit. They're crazy sharp. I have been getting better at sharpening as well. I've just been getting more efficient. I think that's the next step. It's the time. It's like I had a level I was at. It's how fast you can get there now for me.
We're glad you're here, Karen. Yeah, that's the other thing. The mirror might have like 1 scratch in it. I'm just mad at myself because I missed it. I got 1 scratch. Like I couldn't get rid of 1 scratch, but then I won't use the knife. I'm scared to use it because it's like I don't want to add a second scratch. And that's the pinnacle of insane. I spent all this money on a knife and then I sharpen it for hours and then I don't use it. Can't live in that world. That's just madness. Don't go there. It's a dark place, guys.
I'm really starting to get the less is more on sharpening. It's the idea of spending an hour on a knife anymore is like it's not feasible as a business to spend that much time on a knife, but that's the way it gets better over time is once you get good at sharpening, you get faster at sharpening. You know, I get sloppy or whatever, but I can do a Spyderco. I can mirror Spyderco in 15 minutes now with a heel, everything. It's just you get more efficient. You just get less strokes and you start learning that you can stop stuff sooner than you did. Because that was my problem for years. So I just like gotta keep on going. I don't know what I was doing, but like just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. You're just not doing anything after a while with the same stone.
Wisdom.
I am a fancy boy.
That's right.
That'll be another thing people can complain about. So tomorrow's the first come first serve Oz drop. Again, there was one last week.
They're making a lot of knives. Have you noticed, Tom?
I have noticed that finally the secondary is starting to not be ridiculous. So
you can get them for 800 now if they're bare bones.
Yeah. Last week he did 100 and it sold out instantaneous. I was on the wrong page. By the time I found it, it was sold out. So 50 is going to sell out again just as fast, but at least now if you want one on the secondary, they're not nearly as bad.
I did cut myself on a more sharp a couple weeks ago. Was it the kitchen knives? Must have been the
Yeah.
kitchen knives.
Yeah. Nice.
Stock standard basic model is 700, I believe. And
This
then if
this
you add milling patterns
configuration.
or you add anno or you add black and tie or those other things, it goes up.
So a plain is 700. The ones that are going tomorrow are 725, and they have like they're dark stone washed with bronze clip, I think. They have the new clip. I don't know how I feel about the new clip on the Rosies. I think someone made a good point with the shape of the knife. It makes sense that the clip is flat. I don't know.
I don't think they're ever going to reach a point where they satisfy the market because he improves his product as he goes. So people who own an old one will buy a newer one, right? You're not going to buy one and stop. He's got different patterns. He's got different things he's innovating. So it's possible to collect them like anything else. And then also, the more people buy him, the more other people learn about it. So
There is
he's
one knife that I
years
thought was
away.
unobtainable for a long time, and that now did reach a point of market saturation. Was Grimsmo stuff. Grimsmo stuff used to be impossible to get. Now, if you want a freaking Norseman, they're like well under table for one on the secondary.
I'm confused about why people are still buying them new because it's a 40% drop to secondary.
I get those dumb emails saying you've been selected all the time now. I've been selected for a lot of Norsemans.
Ooh, good topic, Blake. Guys, if someone is joining the Millie Club and they don't answer the questions, we don't let them in almost ever unless they're really somebody that we know because we need them to read the answer. We need them to read the rules, and one of the rules is no commenting on sale posts, right? So we want them to read the rules. If they don't read the rules, then they're.
I
It's
will say
annoying.
though.
It's annoying when we have to lecture them later.
I will say though, when you do invite somebody, they don't even see it. We get notified that they've been invited and they haven't answered the questions yet before they even see it. Sometimes, if they don't join the group, they're still going to pop up there on that list. It's
So the right
just
thing to do is to tell your buddies, "Hey, I invited you to a knife group. Answer the questions."
yes. I've been invited to a lot of groups lately. I don't. There's a lot of groups popping up that I don't really need to be in.
Yeah, there's groups I'm in that I don't want to be in, but I don't leave them in case I ever need to go in and look at something. But then also
Exactly.
there's groups I don't want to be in that I keep getting invited to that I'm still not going to ever join.
It's like, for example, I'm not a big Microtech fan, but I do love when Microtech stuff pops up in my general feed because usually it's really interesting.
Really?
Apparently there's been a whole bunch of things that we don't post in our group posted in theirs yesterday, and people were being very defensive about it. I know you know what we're talking about. It's X-rated stuff here. But I like seeing that stuff to know that like we're doing things right, and I can see the drama, and I don't have to be involved in it, and I'm gonna hear about it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets a little unruly over there.
That's a big red flag when people apply and they're in 700 groups. And the reason it's a red flag is I know you're not devoted to all 700 of those groups. So do you
Yeah.
actually want to be in this group, or do you, it's just another one on your giant list of crap?
I know you're in used vintage t-shirts of Greater Ontario, but it doesn't mean you're a Spyderco fan. So you probably don't want to have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to deny that one. You know what's funny, Tom? I'm in a neighborhood group for the neighborhood I'm in,
Yeah.
and we get scammers in the neighborhood group. They try to do duct cleaning. They try to do auto detailing. They try to do siding washing, power washing, and it isn't very hard to snoop them out. Like it's the same tools we use for looking at scammers in our group. And I'm constantly flagging them to the admins over there, and they're always like, "How can you tell? How can you tell?" Like, I just know. Okay, trust me. This jerk did not just move to our neighborhood and decide to start an auto detailing business. Not in my part of town. It's not happening. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't know Abu, and that guy didn't like his wedding photo that was posted 2 weeks ago. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Chase keeps inviting me to the Medford Club. How dare you? Blocked. Blocked. Looking around my desk here to see if there's anything else novel and exciting we can talk about.
I will say, I did this today. When someone pops up in my general feed that I'm friends with, and I cannot for the life of me remember how they got to be my friend, it does feel good to just go cut the list down a little bit. Just cut the list. I don't need to be involved in whatever this person's life was that I knew in college or whatever anymore. I don't even know what their last name is because they changed it when they got married or whatever. It feels good to unfriend people sometimes.
Yep, it does. I'm really biased because Jake Wright is a good friend to Tom and I. We've known him for many years, and Ryan Rimmer couldn't be a nicer guy. The two of them are phenomenal people, and they're working very, very hard to make excellent, excellent knives for you and I. The RWB, I do like it. I think
That's
it's an
a
interesting knife.
cool looking knife. It's really
It's
cool
fun
looking.
to hold. It's really nice to use. I got to try one at Blade, and yeah, it's a cool knife. I don't love the blade shape. It's a little too aggressive in the Bowie tip. Other than that, I like it, and I like the fact that we were seeing some dealer exclusives come out. I like the fact that they're innovating with more than one knife now. It's pretty cool. I like those guys a lot, and I like their ethos when it comes to thinking about their company, thinking about their customer, thinking about their product, and then also designing what they like. I think that's cool. Rather than trying to design something for everyone and building a Homer car, you're building something that you would want to carry, right? And then other people might like it because you like it.
Yeah.
For the
A
same
Homer
reason you
car. That's awesome.
don't build a Homer car.
A Homer car.
How's that for a timely reference, Tom?
Oh, I got it. I got it right away. That 1993 reference.
There's a music video of Greg Medford punching a car window.
Cool. I hope he hurt his hand.
Shocking. That's for Blake. Why does it seem that this group seems to underrepresent flat earthers? Well, Ted, all around the world, people believe that the earth is flat.
I posted to my story on Instagram this video the other day. It shows an asteroid coming and it hits the flat earth. And the dinosaurs don't go extinct from that. They get thrown off because it spun the whole flat earth around. Makes total sense.
I think it's fascinating that all the other planets in the universe and all the other stars and interstellar objects are three-dimensional, but not our planet.
I know. It's weird how it works that way.
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about aliens for a second? Because there's aliens.
Yes.
We don't give a shit about anything else anymore. We're more tied into this factory second cell drama than the fact that the government's like, hey, there's fucking aliens, by the way, guys. No one cares? Okay, cool. Whatever. We're just going to talk about it in Congress.
Well, the Senate minority leader had a stroke during a press conference, and then the oldest member of the Senate doesn't know where she is, and she's older than sliced bread. And our president falls upstairs, and there's a debt crisis going on, but we're all riveted to the UFO talk.
Well, I think there's not enough paying attention to UFO.
My favorite is the dude that sits there that knows everything but can't talk about it publicly.
Yeah. Like,
can you answer this question? I can, but not here. Oh,
but we have.
You want to do it later?
We'll do it later. Access and permissions. Not really. No. They said I have access to everything.
It's like, hey, do you know the answer to our question? I do. Can you tell us? I can't.
No, but it's fucking red.
I can tell you after you turn the cameras off. Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting us see the teaser.
So there's
it's like
aliens,
a Discovery Channel documentary.
We have AI that's becoming alive. Google has a supercomputer that does the work of 47 years worth of the biggest supercomputer now in 1 second. Like, we're getting there. Something's going to happen. This is like the beginning of a movie.
I'm convinced at this point that our government is capable of having alien craft and hiding it for 50, 60 years and then denying it and covering it up, and then later on going, psych, we have it. I believe that they can do that. I also believe that they can do a psyop and they can completely lie about it, and they can lie about it and lie about it and lie about it and make it up, and then later on go, psych, we were kidding the whole time. Like they can be both.
Yeah.
And I think at times they've done both. So I'm reserving judgment. I do believe the alien craft thing more than the Antarctica earthquake machine. That one's full of shit, in my opinion.
The what?
Yeah, there's a guy who was hired to be a plumber and a firefighter for the South Pole Station, Tom. And
Okay.
while he was there, he had access to everything, including all the plans, because he was a firefighter. And he discovered that there's a system of a muon detector under the ice that's the size of like a cubic mile. And he discovered that it's also an earthquake machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he knows this because he read the manual. I'm like, I don't know that firefighters and plumbers get access to the secret manuals about bomb plans and earthquake machines.
No, you just don't get it, dude.
He's very confident in the way he delivers this information. So it's good TV too. If you're not familiar, guys, go to YouTube. He did a whole press conference for like 3 hours where he spoke very convincingly about what he knows and what he doesn't. It's pretty amazing. Bob Lazar, man. Bob Lazar and Sinead O'Connor both deserve apologies. Like one of them's too late, the other one not too late. But it turns out they were both, maybe they're both right.
But Sinead O'Connor, the lady who just died like 2 days ago, she was an aliener.
Do you remember? Do you know why you know Sinead O'Connor? Why
because
she's famous?
She shaved her head and she went on TV when I was a little kid and tore up a picture of the Pope.
Do you know why she tore up a picture of the Pope?
There's got to be lots of reasons, but I don't know.
Sex abuse by Catholic priests against children. That's why.
Good reason.
That's why. So at the time she was vilified. It was a how dare you moment. It ruined her career. And now she's famous for that. But No, I don't like the fact that my head's higher than yours. It's been weird.
It's that way in nature, though, because if your head was lower than mine, it wouldn't really make sense.
A little too much head talk. So anyway, yeah, it's certainly possible that we're living in a world where we have advanced technology, and old Bob Lazar was right. It's also possible that they made it all up because they can.
One thing that I haven't got to experience that apparently the entire rest of the nation is, how hot is it in Indiana today?
It's hard to tell because we're getting violent thunderstorms that roll through and drop the temperature 20 degrees. And then when it takes a while for it to reset. But this week it got into the low 90s a couple times.
Oh, that's not too bad. Phoenix was what, over 110 degrees for 29 days in a row. Oh, buddy.
This is far from the hottest summer we've ever had. And also we've had a lot of rain, like a lot of rain. My grass is green and I haven't watered it in over a month. And that's very weird for late July. Usually the grass is yellow.
I look at the weather maps of the United States, and it's like there's this corner in the Northwest. It's just like blue and green, and everything else is like on fire, red and purple. And it's like, it's kind of warm today. It was like in the 70s.
I think they're goosing the contrast to make it a little more woo-woo.
Yeah, but I will say it's not. I haven't experienced any of these crazy temperatures, and the Pacific Northwest has been quite pleasant, to be honest.
I saw somebody take a weather map of Europe from 2017, and it had all the Celsius degrees all over the cities. And then they had a weather map from 2023, and the temperatures were roughly in the same range. But the 2023 map was full of red and purple, and then the map from 2017 was full of green and yellow.
Yeah.
There's no science in the color, guys. They're just choosing colors. Let's see here. Let's go back through some comments. I'm not saying I don't believe in aliens, but I definitely don't believe our government. They're not proving to be trustworthy about much. So it's hard to know.
It's one of those things where it's like, I can say I don't believe in aliens, but then at the same time, I've been terrified of them my entire life. So do I believe in aliens? Kind of. I don't know.
Are you afraid you're going to have a hoopa joop crammed up your butt?
Me and my friend Jared used to lay on a trampoline in like 5th grade, and we just sit there and look in the sky and look for aliens. And I was kind of terrified the whole time I was doing it, like they were going to come.
Oh, that's right. The earthquake machine under the ice, Tom. It's a muon detector. It's designed to detect muons, right? He also claimed it could be reversed to send signals as a radio. So it can be used to beam instructions out. It can be used as a radar. It can be used to detect muons. It can be used to detect alien craft. And it can be used as an earthquake machine, which they turned on once and they accidentally created an earthquake with it. Yeah. Just remember, guys, your local weather is not indicative of the world, right? This is far from the hottest summer I've ever had. So I know it's hot there. May not be hot here. 105 is hella hot in Oklahoma. 117 in AZ.
That's toasty.
Houston, you don't get a vote. And how's the weather? You guys are always hot every summer.
I had to like do a layover in Houston that like I had to spend the night one time. It was the first time I'd ever been near the South or anything like that. I was not prepared for that hot humidity. That is no joke.
Jeff knows the way.
I tried to meet aliens all the time.
I think he'll try.
So, Mr. Ted Rhodes has been in this hobby for less than 2 months. And at the beginning of this, when we got into this little knife world thing, I suggested he should buy one of these boxes that holds 8 knives. And Ted was like,
Hey
"Oh
Ted,
my god!"
do not buy a box that holds 8 knives. I'll give you a good reason. Because when you have 9 knives, you'll need to do another box.
So So now we're trying to find places because he's like, "What knife do I sell?" Because he already filled it up in less than 2 months.
Shocking.
So I said, "Well, one's got to go in your pocket." That's like saying like 12 in the clip and one in the chamber. Like, yeah, one in the chamber, put it in your pocket. Another one goes right in your car. Boom. Now you can hold 10 knives minimum.
I finally took a pair of 3 lightweight BD1N satin and I stuck it downstairs next to the island in the kitchen. We've got a little rack on the wall with file folder thingies. So like there's a junk collector for Jason and a junk collector for Mrs. Beatty and a junk collector for Lil Beatty. And I put it in there. So now when I want to open packages and I don't have a knife in my pocket, I'm not using the scissors like my wife, like a savage. I can actually cut boxes open the way they're supposed to be with a knife. So yeah, I finally like let go. Like I don't have to have all my knives in one spot. It's okay.
It is pleasing to have them all, to know where they are at least.
Knife Nut 69.
That sounds like a name I would make up.
Yep. We just have one question. Are you a Metro?
Or are you fancy boy like me?
Right. If there's something you want for sure, then yes, it's worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother. I suppose he's referring to the second sale. In about half an hour, he's going to see his comment and go, "Oh wow." Ted says he's done at 9. Ha ha ha. Sure.
But then the mini Arius you're gonna need one of mini Arius. So where are you gonna put that?
Yeah, everybody says they're done. Hey Tom B. I'm always looking for box elder, large Sabenzas, 31 preferably, and also I'm looking for large Sabenza 31 lefty. These are all lefty, by the way, because I know you're a lefty. I'm looking for lefty Micarta, preferably like a little bit hairy, so I can swap out the inlays and not feel bad about it. So if you know anybody, if you see a guy, look up your boy. I said 10 was not 5 over 200 now. Ouch. Scott Bolin face.
So some emojis just make me feel uncomfortable. Like they just do. This emoji, that sweating,
I don't know what it
laughing,
means.
it makes me feel physically awkward looking at it when someone uses it. They're like, because it's the
No, that's only
awkward
because of
laughing.
Scott Bolin. You
Yes.
got a little trauma that's lingering with that.
Yes, that's true.
You guys should go back to Go No Go and look up Gregory Scott Bolin and just follow along. If you're new to the hobby, you don't remember him. He was a gem. But yeah,
Well,
he used that emoji all the time. And you didn't know if he was laughing or if he was nervous. Like, are you lying to me? Does it mean you're lying? Does it you're like snarling? You're like telling me a lie, you're smiling? Is that what it means? No one knows what it means. I would ask him from time to time and he would get weird about it.
yeah.
Anyway. Cool story, bro. Can't think of anything else going on. Sit in a nutshell. We got any exclusives coming up, Tom?
I was gonna say, I don't think there is any that I have. There's none that I'm aware of right now, which is odd. But yeah, I don't think there's anything dropping in the immediate future.
Facebook user, which I believe is Victor, says it's nervous laughter, Tom.
I know, and that nervousness rubs off on me. It makes me feel nervous.
Yeah, the nervous is rubbing on you.
Yeah.
Don't click on it.
No, I'm not going to.
Yep, you can wrap it up here.
Yeah,
looking around my office, and I don't have anything else that's laying out that I deliberately put out so that we could talk about it.
I unfortunately boxed a knife up that I sharpened. I was going to show off. I got to I've been putting off sharpening one knife because it was a $2,000 all-time Damascus, all polished Damascus blade, Freeman custom, and the guy wanted a mirror on it, and
I didn't realize that was polished Damascus. Holy cow!
It was an intense knife. So he wanted the edge that was on it was garbage. I don't know who sharpened it or if that's the way it came. It did not look good. So I've been waiting and putting it off till I was in the right mindset to do this thing. It turned out really good. I got that one off my plate.
Nice job.
That was a big get because no one else wanted to sharpen it because everyone was kind of scared of it. I was scared of it too. A lot of preparation. So
yeah.
One thing about sharpening that I will say, it's all in the setup. And so that means getting your angle right, getting it clamped right, using tape or zip ties or whatever you're going to do to protect the blade and the ricasso. If you can, using stop collars, all those little things. So you don't have to be scared of sharpening stuff if you take all the right precautions. It's all about the setup. And once you set it up right, it's kind of hard to screw up.
I agree. Take the time, prep it, wrap the handle in tape, whether it's masking tape or electrical tape, cover it up so you don't accidentally gouge it with something. Be careful.
Finding the right angle can save you. The difference between this much on your sharpener up and down can save you a half hour of getting the right angle instead of having to reprofile something. So take the time, figure out what it is, and then just go to town. And it'll be really quick. Oh, that's something that's going out. Vero Synapse XL drop next week. Forget the day. I posted in the group though. Whenever there's a Synapse, I tell everyone whenever there's a Vero drop, whatever, Veros are great. This is my favorite Vero though. The Synapse XL is by far my favorite Vero. So if you're looking for a big ass knife in a fun way, it's kind of like Subvert-esque almost. It's a big, smooth as you could believe, like awesome, fun to flick, cool knife is this Synapse XL.
Did you see his mid-sized integral, Tom?
I think I saw it at Blade Show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought this one from Dan Tan because I was so excited about the mid-size one coming, and I was like, you know what? I haven't had one of these in a while. Maybe I should try it again. And I got it, and I love it, but it is just as big as I remember, and it's not as fun as the Synapse XL. But the mid-size one that's coming, TBD, I could not be more excited about.
Yeah. So this to me
love
is
Joseph
like
Vero, love his designs, love the man himself. Women love him. Men want to be him.
Not even a joke. He's got it going on.
He is among the best dudes in the knife community that I've ever met. So
absolutely,
I will always support his company, and I think he's bad at the bone. So yeah, if you don't have a Synapse XL and you've thought about it, you should get one. Just know it's a giant knife. It's like, if you think a Shaman's too big, don't buy it. If you have a Shaman and wish it was just a little bigger, you'd be very happy.
It's not thin. That's one thing to be aware of too. It's not just long. It's chonky.
But there's a few knives that are more fun to open and close than that one.
It's mine took some breaking in. I've had two. I had a belt grind and I had a hand satin. Once they're broken in, they're smoother than a Koenig, smoother than a Shiro, smoother than a Holt. They're very.
I don't know about that.
Fun. They're smoother than mine.
You know, it's funny. I have a lefty Synapse, and I'm so used to carrying the righties in my left hand that I tend to thumb flick using the V spot.
Yeah.
But on the lefty, guess what? It's down here where it's supposed to be. So I find with my lefty Synapse, I have a hard time opening it sometimes because I go to thumb it and it doesn't open. Is that stupid?
I get it.
Ooh, brass Synapse. That's a beefy lad. It's a nice one. I will measure it right now, and I'll tell you how thick it is. Hold on one second. Let me find my calipers. By the way, I've seen people say, "Hey, Joseph, I ruined my knife, and it's my fault." And he'll go, "I'll take care of you. I'll help you out." And I've seen people go, "I've stripped out my screws. I was dumb. I used the wrong size. What do I do?" He'll say, "I'll help you." I had one with a weak detent, and I said, "I'm a little worried about the detent." And he said, "I'm sorry that happened to you. Let me make it right." And he fixed it. That guy will go to the ends of the earth to make sure you're happy with his product. I've seen people get pissy with him and say that, this knife's a ripoff, and he'll go, "Send it back. I'll give you your money back."
He's sending me customers. He has a regular customer that has a dull one. He's sending it to me to get it sharpened for the guy. Just take care of it.
So at the bolster, let's see. Do you want millimeters, Tom? Do you want inches?
Oh, I love millimeters. It makes things sound bigger.
I'm going to go inches because we're difficult.
Because Go America is why.
Yeah. So it's 580 thousandths thick behind the bolster. So on the bolster. So right here, 580 thousandths. And it's probably pretty consistent on the carbon fiber, but I'll tell you in a minute. Yep, 590 thousandths. So it's 580 through here. Let's measure something else comparable to give us a comparison. PM2 is 450 thousandths. So we're at 454 this way.
It's like 20% thicker.
So it is thicker. Yes. I don't know. It's a bigger knife, but man, it's cool. They're fun.
They're fun. They're just fun. And this is one of those knives that's like, there is an attachment to me about this Vero more than just it being a cool knife, because Joseph is really a person that I'm proud to own something he made. Like, he's that cool of a dude that it makes you like the knife just that much more.
A lot of guitar talk in the comments here. My guitars are all important to me, and a lot of them have really interesting stories attached to them that may not resonate with other people. So my collection is a little different. Like, I'm not going after the most coveted guitars on the planet. They're just all very important to me in a very, very personal way. So some of them I made myself. Some of them some close friends of mine made for me. Some of them I chased for 20 years and I finally got one. One belonged to my best friend and we grew up together. So when the Strat back here, when we were 13, we both decided we wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. So he bought a black Strat and I bought a black Telly, which is nothing like Eddie would have used. And then we learned to play guitar. And later on in life, he stopped playing and he gave it to me because he didn't want to sell it. And he said, "Don't ever sell it." I said, "I won't."
There you go.
So that's the one I'd grab on the way out in a fire. But it's just a Mexi Strat. It's not a special guitar. It was built 92, 93, somewhere in that range. So they weren't particularly excellent the way they are now. But it means something to me. You know, the one I made out of my grandma's kitchen table, it's kind of cool. Right. Yeah. So yeah, they're beautiful instruments and they sound killer. Don't get me wrong, but they're not necessarily like, I don't have a 59 Les Paul. I don't have a you know, no caster. So yeah. They're all very nice instruments, but with a story behind them. What else?
I think we're good.
I have 3 amplifiers in here, and 2 of them I built. No, 2 of them I built the cabinets, but the guts were manufactured elsewhere, and then the third one I hand wired myself. So, yeah, sometimes I like to rock out and just make my ears hurt, but that's pretty fun.
Nice.
The older you get, the less time you have in your hands. So,
less what?
You can play, like when I was a kid, I could play for hours. And now the older I get, my hands start to wear out because I'm not in shape, right? I don't practice every day. So
I think that was what killed my guitar ambitions, was like, oh, this like instrument is just like my little sensitive fingies on thumb studs. It was like, oh, this kind of hurts. It's like a lot of effort and got to callus them fingers up.
I would not call myself a luthier. Like if you build a Telecaster and it takes you 120 hours, then you're not a luthier. But I did build it from templates, you know, using a pin router and you know, making it myself, and it was fun. And when I did the second one, it only took me 10 because I learned a lot on the first one. But yeah, it's just part of my life at this point. Anyway, shall we wrap it up? It's been $1.03. All right, we're done. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We're Finger Afflicted Box. We will see you next week, and we hope you have a nice evening.
Bye.